Hey guys, goes your plus back to more 2 days once again, and I'm finally gonna finish my 2025 regular season predictions today. And I guess it took a little bit for me to record it, but there's been SummerSlam and stuff, and SummerSlam's pretty important. My GOAT Seth Rollins cashed in and won the World Heavyweight title, so yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, I have good news. I have a lot of videos planned. I have this one, I have another Nuzlocke video planned, and I have the ratings for the Atlanta Falcons in Madden 26 video reaction planned. So I have a lot of videos coming up in the next 2 weeks or so y'all should definitely stay tuned and subscribe so you know exactly when those videos come out. But let's not waste any time. Let's get started on the AFC predictions for 2025, beginning with the AFC West. The first team, the Denver Broncos. They're third in their division, eighth in their conference, this one. So that means they sit one spot outside the playoffs with a C-plus offense and a S-plus defense. If you tell anyone that the Broncos aren't a top three, maybe number one defense, then you're lying to them. I think it's undeniable that the best defenses are the Broncos, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Eagles. Maybe you can drop like the Lions in there, but probably not the Lions. Either way, the defense is absolutely absurd with Surtain. They added to with Jahdae Barron. Nick Bonito's still a really solid player. That's probably one of the more underrated players, like Jonah Ellis on the Broncos. I'm just naming random names, but really this team all around seems like it could easily be the best defense in the NFL. Now, my question mark is the offense. Not because I think the offense is terrible, but it doesn't stack up to really any great offenses in the NFL. You got Courtland Sutton, who's always been up there, but has never been a top 10 receiver. I mean, has he even never been a top 15 receiver for an extended period of time? I'm not sure. He's a good enough receiver one, but he's not a great receiver one. And they lost Jerry Jeudy, so they don't got him anymore. Bo Nix should be good this year. He was good last year. One of the more talented rookies, and he really did show it. But will he make that season 2 jump, or will he have a sophomore slump? Then the running back room isn't strong at all. They have a good offensive line, but their tight end isn't great. I mean, the run game probably ain't going to be good at all. And I don't know if their passing game is going to be good enough to really change this offense's ceiling. Speaking of ceilings, I have their floor at 7-10, ceiling 12-5. Because despite the fact that their offense could struggle this coming season, and despite the fact that they're playing in one of the toughest AFC divisions, I still believe that this defense is going to get them a lot of wins. I think I'd be surprised if the Broncos were anything worse than the third in this division. I'd be surprised if they had any more than 10 losses. And honestly, I would lean towards their floor being 8-9. But with such a young QB, really anything can happen. Their ceiling is high. If this defense is as good as it should be, which I'm assuming it will, and then the offense surprises us to be around a B-plus tier, this could be one of the best teams in the AFC West. They can win the AFC West. That's just not my official prediction. My prediction is right in the middle at 9-8, which puts them just outside the playoffs. Now, they might make it in the NFC, but this isn't the NFC. In the AFC, for me, I'll just tell you now, you need at least 10 wins to make it into the playoffs, and the Broncos do not have that, so the Broncos are eliminated despite a solid season. Stay tuned for Season 3, though, of Bo Nix. Now, of course, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. I have them first in the division, of course, but only third in the conference, which is kind of low. It's on the second half of division winners. I give them a B- offense, which is still good. They have the best quarterback in the NFL. I don't care what you say. He won 3 Super Bowls, went to 5. Clearly, there's something going on there with Mahomes that he just wins, whether it's refs or skill. They have Travis Kelce, a top 5 tight end. They have a top 5 line, probably up there with the Lions, Eagles, Falcons. And then you have, the receivers are good. Rice should be good if he stays healthy. Worthy should be a really good receiver too, but I'm not moved by whoever the receiver 3 is. And heck, I'm not even moved by the first 2 because one of them has really got to step up because Rice been hurt. Worthy's good, but not consistent. You need someone who's really going to, I'm not saying another Tyreek Hill for Patrick, but you're going to need someone who can make plays besides the aging Travis Kelce and on a consistent, non-injury, 17 games a season basis. Now, the running game has Pacheco, I think it still has Edwards-Helaire. or whoever, maybe Kareem Hunt. But either way, I'm not too high on their running game. Like, it should be fine. It's not going to be top in the league. The only thing that will elevate it is their offensive line, which, again, is very good, even if they did lose, I believe, someone to the Broncos. It still should be a solid run game and a still above average passing game. But I don't think either side of their offense will be elite. Besides their offensive line, dropping them to B-. I gave them an A-plus defense, though. This is what made them Super Bowl contenders. Their defense is elite. Now, I wouldn't put it on the level of the Broncos, but I still think that's the reason they won last year and the reason why they have a chance to win this year. So, I mean, B-, A-plus is a good combination. So I have their floor at 9 and 8. I'd be surprised and I'd be shocked, bewildered if the Chiefs fell off by 6 games this year. But I still have that as their floor. I think if really nothing goes right for the Chiefs this year, maybe Mahomes gets hurt or Rice doesn't show up and this offense is just really bad, I think they'll still have a winning record. I just can't see this team with Andy Reid and with this defense going below 500, not yet. And as their ceiling, I have it as 14-3, which is lower than their record last year. I think we can all agree the Chiefs got a little lucky last year, no matter how much of a Mahomes apologist you are. I'm not a Mahomes apologist, but I don't think the Chiefs are straight up paying the league or anything. But they did get lucky on multiple accounts. Oops. Well, you already saw the Chargers. Anyway. But I don't think they're going 15-2 again. That's going to be a rarity. I don't think anyone's disagreeing with that. I think 15-2 is going to be a rarity. I think at best the Chiefs will be a 14-3 team this year. And my official prediction is 12-5 with winning the division, which is not a hard division to win. I think there's a couple of solid teams. I don't think there's another 12-5 team in this conference. In this division. And honestly, there's only 2 more teams in the entire NFL with a better record than the Chiefs, or the same record as the Chiefs. Either way, I think the Chiefs are once again going to be one of the best teams, but I'm not sure if they'll be that same team that won all those Super Bowls. Next, we got the Chargers, second in their division, 6th in the conference, giving them a wild card spot. I gave them a B offense, which is the second best in the division. Justin Herbert, Quentin Johnston. I don't know about him yet. He's still a big question mark. He's like the Kyle Pitts of the Chargers. You really can't tell if he's as good as he was supposed to be coming out the draft. And I think the Falcons and the Chargers are giving both Johnston and Pitts one more year to prove things. But if he works out, if Vlad McConkey is as good as he was year 1, did they have J.K. Dobbins again? Either way, whoever the running back is, they have a good offensive line. Joe Alt is quickly getting used to a spot there at, I believe, guard for the Chargers. This could be a really decent offense. B-plus defense. I think this defense was top 5 in the NFL last year, which I did not see coming. I don't think it's enough retained to remain an A-plus or so offense. But I think they'll still be above average and one of the better defenses in the conference. Even though, to be fair, they're worse than the Broncos and Chiefs. But that's just because this conference has a lot of good defense. My floor for the Chargers is just lower. Listen, their floor and ceiling is the same as the Broncos. Because even though they have a much more experienced QB in Justin Herbert, they have the missing defense that the Broncos have. I think that kind of makes up for each other. You lose an elite defense with the Chargers, but you gain a veteran elite tier quarterback. So I gave them the same floor and ceiling, but they just came out with one more win than the Broncos. Maybe it's because of that more consistent, more defined quarterback who just clutched out one more extra win. And despite only going, I believe, 3-3 in their division, getting swept by the Chiefs, tying against the Broncos, sweeping the Raiders, they make the 10-7 record, and that's enough to make it to the playoffs. Final team in the division. We're not going to last too much on this team. This is, in my opinion, the worst team in the NFL. The Las Vegas Raiders. 4th in their division, 16th in their conference. They're going to be using Geno Smith at QB. I gave them a F+ offense and an F defense. And this is crazy because this is actually unusual. Most people have the Raiders in the 6, well, I won't say 6, I'll say a 5 to 8 win range. I'm surprised to see that. I honestly don't even think the Raiders have a chance. They sucked last year, and I don't think they're going to be any better. Because I look at them like, man, y'all really love the Jacoby Myers, don't y'all? Because y'all saying, oh, he's a top receiver one. No, he's not. He's like one of the worst receiver ones. And it's crazy because Myers went for 1,000 yards. But that's not really special in the NFL anymore. He could be a receiver two on a lot of teams and no one would bat an eye. Now, they do have Brock Bowers. And he's a game changer. But he's still a tight end and he's not going to straight up win games for the Raiders like he did at times for Georgia. And now we have Ashton Genty, the best running back prospect since Bijan and since Saquon. Should be elite. But he didn't get to play a lot of great competition. He might struggle early in the season for the Raiders. You can see him averaging under 4 yards for half the year. Now he should be in full form by the end of the year. Kind of like how Bijan was. But still, I don't love this offense at all. Their offensive line's great, but they don't have a good QB. Stop overrating Geno, please. The running back room, I mean, it's just Genty. And then the receivers are nothing special. Tight end is, of course, great. And their defense is even worse. They lost Divine Diablo. Didn't even really replace him. Max Crosby's great. They lost Trayvon Merrick. They have no DBs on this roster. I think it's just straight up the worst defense in the NFL. After floor at 2-5, ceiling at 6-11, and the prediction is 3-14. If the Raiders win more than 6 games, I will come back and say I was wrong. But right now, I expect them to have the first pick in the NFL draft. The AFC East is next. Next, we have the New England Patriots, who have 4th in their division, 13th in the conference. D-plus offense. I know people love saying, oh, wait, look out for this mid-team's offense or defense. And you look at it and you're like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. But then you look at literally every other team and you're like, oh, never mind. It just looks good, but compared to today's NFL, it's not. Drake May, exciting. Stephon Diggs. Is he on the Patriots? I can't remember what team he's on. I think he's on the Patriots. He needs to get his head in the game, I'll say that. They have like Demario Douglas over there, I think. They have Travion Henderson. Not Travion. Well, yeah. Wait, no. Yeah, they do. They have like Ramondre Stevenson and one of the running backs I think they drafted. Either way, the running room will be solid. It'll be all right. It won't be top half of the NFL. Stevenson's a good starter, but they're not going to be able to run the ball. Their offensive line isn't nearly as good as a lot of the best ones in the AFC. The receiver corps doesn't make me too excited besides one star. Drake May should be better, but I'm not taking these sophomore QBs and saying just because they're in their second year, they're going to have some crazy Josh Allen-like jump. I doubt that's going to happen. And even if they do, I don't think he'll be enough because his offense just isn't a lot around him. They did draft Will Campbell. Great draft pick, by the way. They have Wenu and Campbell now, but will that be enough to clean up the rest of this really, really mid offense? I'm not sure. They have a much better defense, even though they lost Judon a couple of years back. But, I mean, overall, I have this team's floor being 5-12. I can't see them being one of the worst teams in the NFL. I can't see them being bottom 5. Because I think they're just more talented than the bottom 5, consisting of teams like the Saints and the Raiders that you already saw. But their ceiling is only 9-8. Because I also can't see them being one of the best. And as I said, since the teams in this AFC have 10 wins, at least, in the playoffs, I don't see the Patriots making the playoffs even as their best. But, of course, no worse AFC. They could still make it. My first prediction is 6-11, which might be a little bit kind. But I think the Patriots have some chances. Their division ain't strong. The Jets and Dolphins are very possible ties at the least. So maybe the Patriots sneak in, or maybe they're just one of those teams that you say, it could have been great, but it was just mediocre. And speaking of 6-11 teams, you got the Jets. I have them 3rd in their division, 11th in the conference. I gave them a D offense. Now, Justin Fields, he might be good for the Jets. I'm not even going to lie, he might be good. But this is a bad offensive line, because I just can't keep it together. And then maybe a top 20 quarterback Fields might be. I can't tell from those Steelers games. He was really just a game manager there. And they have Garrett Wilson, but do they have anyone special behind him? Not really. They have Breece Hall. He's good. He's not top 10. And I think if you want a really elite run game, you're going to need either a top 5 line, because you need a really good line to make bad running backs look good. or at least average more than 4.2 yards per carry. Or you need a top 10 running back. Or you need both. Or you need like a top 10 running back, top 10 line. Jets don't have a top 10 line. They don't have a top 10 running back. This run game should be good, but it shouldn't be too high above average. And then their pass game, it depends on Fields, really. Wilson's going to shine no matter what. But will the rest of this offense shine even with Fields? I'm not sure. They couldn't shine with Rodgers. So we'll see. The defense, though, elite. Got Sauce Gardner. Got that safety I can't remember the name of. Got Quincy and Quinnen Williams. I think Quincy's been getting better, too. But yeah, I got them as a B+. Not an elite defense, but a really good one that might rise past my expectations and bring this offense to actually some glory. I have their floor at 5-12 because the Jets are another team I can't see being terrible. But I also have their ceiling higher than the Patriots because I think with Fields and Wilson, I'm more confident than May and his options. And their running game is better. And I think their defense is better. So I think they're a little bit better. Their ceiling is a very slight wild card playoff spot. But my official prediction is 6-11. Jets missing the playoffs and being slightly better than the Patriots, which also means a slightly worse draft position. But, I mean, there's some things to look on and say, hey, 2-3 years from now, the Jets could be contenders. Speaking of contenders, we got the Bills next. First in their division, second in their conference. I'm very high on the Bills this year. They have an A offense, A defense, just naming talent. You got Gregory Rousseau, you got Ed Oliver, Matt Milano, Jordan Poyer, I think, still on the team. And then offense, you got Josh Allen, Keon Coleman, James Cook, who scored the most touchdowns in the NFL, I believe, last year. And a really solid offensive line, Dalton Kincaid, of course. I just think the Bills have done a good job of maintaining talent. Even when they lost Stephon Diggs, they barely felt it last year. I mean, they felt it like as in drops, but record-wise, they didn't feel it. The Bills are still just as good as a team. Maybe it's just because their defense improves when Stephon Diggs left, though. I have their floor at 10-7. I can't see the Bills being bad this year, especially in their mid-division, which should get them at least 4 wins. I have them having 5 in their division. And their ceiling is 13-4, because I can't see the Bills being elite. They don't have a top 5 offense or defense for me. They're sitting just outside of both. Even though they're like 6 or 7 for off defense. They're like very close, but they're not top 5. I think that holds them back from being a truly dominant team. But even so, I have them going 12-5, just above the Chiefs. So, I mean, if the Chiefs are a benchmark, then the Bills are an elite team in the NFL. So, I'm high up on them. I'm not saying they're going to be guaranteed Super Bowl champions or anything. But I'm saying, watch out for them. Next, we got the Miami Dolphins, who are second in their division, 9th in the conference. So, sitting 2 spots outside the playoffs, but still one of the better teams in the AFC East. I gave them a C+ offense. Devon A-Chain is kind of giving me Breece Hall, but a little bit worse. Like, he's a good running back. He's good. But he's not going to make your running game one of the best in the NFL. Underwhelming offensive line they're trying to fix for Tua. Receivers should be good. You got Waddle and Hill, who I think Waddle outshone Tyreek Hill last year because Tyreek Hill was interesting last year, I'll say. But yeah, the Dolphins should be a decent offense, nothing crazy. Defense is a little disappointing now. They did get Minkah Fitzpatrick back, but they lost Jalen Ramsey. And you could argue corner's more important than safety. So, I mean, it's whatever you think. But I think Minka's the better player, better position. Value, though, you might rather have Jalen Ramsey there. Either way, I don't think it matters. I think either way, this is a very average Dolphins team. And while I do have their floor being kind of high at 6-11, that means even if I think they're the worst they could be, I still think the Dolphins will be somewhat successful. And I think at their peak, they're 10-7. Because I think the Dolphins have a very rigid ceiling. Like, there's no way they're going to be a great team, in my opinion. The only way I can see them going above 10 wins is Tua becoming a top 10 QB this year. He's still on the 12 to 14 range for me, especially because he can't play consistently. And even though he did last year, he just didn't show many results, really. Still a very below average offense last year. So, I have them going 9-8, just below their ceiling, because I do believe in Tua. But I don't believe he's going to, dominate this division. He's probably going to drop games to the Jets or Patriots that he shouldn't. Probably will drop games in general that he shouldn't. Or not even really him, just the team in general. I just don't think he's elite or just talented enough to really make a dent in this really stout AFC. Up and running is the AFC South, one of the weaker divisions in the AFC, just like the NFC. South is one of the weaker in the NFC. I got the Jaguars, third in their division, 14th in the conference. So I'm not as high on the Jaguars as some people are, to be honest. I give them a D-plus defense. They lost Gabe Davis. Brian Thomas still should be elite. I really want to see if either Brian Thomas or Malik Neighbors really separates themselves as the better receiver. That's something I want to see. But Etienne's getting worse every year, kind of like Kenneth Walker. Like, they had a really solid start, but since then they just haven't really been able to channel that young, I don't know, just whatever they had going on in their first and second years. Walker and Etienne have not kept that going. Really mid-offensive line, really questionable QB and Trevor Lawrence. People put him in the top 15. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. He doesn't have the mobility of a top QB that we've seen. It doesn't change his game. He's not an elite passer yet. He's really good at progression sometimes, but sometimes he just forces really weird throws. And that's probably why the Jaguars didn't have much different success when he got hurt and Mac Jones came in. It just didn't change them much, which makes me even lower on Trevor Lawrence. But he came in the league super young, so he still has a really good shot of being elite in the NFL. He's getting a lot of chances. He has a really good weapon. Maybe we want a better offensive line, but it's not one of the worst in the league. Probably not. And I'm not completely trashing on the Jaguars offense. I think you could bump them up to a C- or a C. But something you can't really bump up is their defense. It's just not moving me. They have Devin Lloyd. They have Josh Allen. Josh Hines Allen. Whatever they want you to call him. Andre Sisco, I believe, is still there. But the secondary is pretty weak. Just like last year, they didn't really improve it. I think Tyson Campbell's still chilling over there, though. Say hi to him from Eastern Georgia. But, like, this defense doesn't move me. This team doesn't move me at all. Like, it looks really, really average and at worst below average. I have their floor at 4-13 and their ceiling at 8-9. Because at their worst, this Jaguars team will be just as bad as last year. And they're just not going to move much. And I think if they're bad again, if they're 4-13 again, whether Lawrence is playing healthy or not, he's gone. I don't think there's any way you keep a QB who continues to push you into mediocrity, whether he's playing or not. But if they go 8-9, which happens their ceiling, they could give him another shot because this team probably shouldn't go 8-9. Some people are saying it. I don't think it should happen. The best chance is their weak division. They could easily go like 5-1 because the Colts and Titans suck. They could sweep both of them and then maybe tie against the Texans. That'd be 5 wins. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to struggle. Not like struggle as in lose all their division games. Struggle as in I don't think they're going to be like crushing the teams that are beneath them as easily as they should. I have the prediction at 6-11, which is right in the middle of their floor and ceiling, which means they could be a really solid team. But I think they're going to be more of a bottom dweller who maybe gets some really nice upsets later in the season. I'm not high on the Jaguars, but I'm also not low on them. Next we got the Tennessee Titans, my franchise team. You should subscribe to my other channel, Cody Jr., because I'm doing the Titans franchise, the final season, season 6. And I'm just going to spoil it now. We don't have Will Levis still. But I have the Titans being 4th in their division, 15th in the conference, only better than the Raiders. I gave them a D-plus offense. I mean, is it any better than the Jaguars offense? They have a less proven QB, albeit he could be better. They have Pollard and Spears, which has been a really nice duo. But again, just like I said, for Breece Hall, but to probably a lower effect, because Pollard's probably not going to be as good as him this year. He's just not good enough to make you think, whoa, but they have a good run game. Like kind of how Falcons had Bijan and Algier in 2023. So even though you were like, this offense probably ain't going to be good. Oh, but they could run for a lot of yards, which the Falcons did. I don't know if the Titans are going to be like that this year. I know I use the Falcons a lot for comparison. That's the team I know the best, so you're gonna have to get over it. I don't think the Titans' offense is terrible though. They still have Calvin Ridley, who I think is still a stud. Honestly, I think Calvin Ridley is one of the most, maybe the most underrated receiver. He was great with the Falcons, lost a step because he was gambling, and then came back, was still good with the Jaguars, and was even better with the Titans, arguably. Like, he's had 3,000-yard seasons, I believe, and he's only played, I think, 5 seasons in the NFL, maybe 6. The problem is their defense. Man, it's so bad. I don't even think they got Harold Landry back. There's literally nothing here besides L'Jarius Sneed. There's nothing here, man. I mean, T'Vondre Sweat didn't do anything special in Madden or in real life, which I guess I shouldn't be comparing their Madden stuff, but I'm being genuine. T'Vondre Sweat didn't change that run game at all. It still sucked. Or that run defense. I have their floor at 3-14, which is my prediction. I have their ceiling at 7-10, but I very much doubt that they'll win 7 games. I just can't see the Titans being good. It's really hard to. They have the worst division. I mean, the worst conference. The worst defense in the worst division in the AFC. It's just going to be really tough for the Titans to do anything. Maybe they squeeze out 1 or 2 division wins. I think that's the best thing that happens. So I think I had them tying with the Jags, being swept by the Texans, and maybe either tying or getting swept by the Colts. So 1 or 2 division wins is the only thing to be happy about if you're a Titans fan. The Texans have them first in their division, but the last division-winning team in the conference. I give them a B+ offense. Nico Collins should be back, which means C.J. Stroud will hopefully be back in tip-top shape. And when C.J. Stroud is locked in, he can be still just as elite as he was in his rookie year. I don't think throwing 12 interceptions should make people suddenly drop him out of the top 15 while you still have Trevor Lawrence in it. I'm taking Stroud over Lawrence every day of the week. And they still have Nico, they still have Tank, and then they added Nick Chubb. Now, at worst, this could be just one of those Le'Veon Bell, Devontae Freeman, Ezekiel Elliott situations where the guy just comes back and they're just not the same. They barely even make it through the season on the roster. Or Nick Chubb could still be just as good, and you just allow the Texans to have Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb on the roster, along with Nico Collins and Tank Dell. I'm not going to say nothing yet, because he hasn't shown nothing yet, but Nick Chubb could really change this offense up to an A+. And they still have an elite defense. Kamari Lassiter, Derek Stingley, Jalen Petrie, Will Anderson. Do I need to go on? This Henry Anyway, this Titans defense should be better than their offense. I think it's a really good team. I think despite their record only being 10-7 for my official prediction, they could be one of the better teams in the AFC in the playoffs. At the 4-8-9, because I can't see the Texans being bad. If Stroud continues to struggle, if injuries, even one injury could ruin the entire defense. But their ceiling, 12-5, I think the Texans could be great. I just don't have enough proof to say that yet. They've been more of a benefiter of their bad division. Unlike the Bucs. I think the Bucs have done that despite their bad division, not because of it. Even though they have gotten some wins because of the Saints and Panthers being absolute garbage. Finally, of this division, the Indianapolis Colts, who I have being second in the division, 10th in the conference, so missing out on the playoffs by a pretty decent margin. D+ offense, again, for the AFC South. Now, Anthony Richardson is probably the biggest question mark besides the rookie in this conference. Will we see rookie Anthony Richardson before his injury, or will we see all of 2024 Anthony Richardson, which is a bunch of mid? I don't know yet, which is why I can't put their defense any higher than D tier. Now, I have high hopes for the receiver group. Josh Downs was very good. Alec Pierce was pretty consistent. And, of course, Michael Pittman, who hasn't been like elite or anything, but he's still solid. He can fit any role on this offense. So, yeah, and then they still have Jonathan Taylor. Like, this offense should be good. And it can be good if Richardson is good. But it wasn't good last year. And they didn't really improve it. So it'd be weird to just say, oh, they'll magically be better this year. But they have the talent to be a solid C to B tier offense. We just have to see if Richardson and the coach can truly draw that out of them. But their defense is pretty good. It's all right. They still got, Kwity Paye and stuff like that. And whatever that safety's name is. It's nothing special. It's not a bad defense. Some more solid rosters in the AFC South, which is why I have their ceiling being 10-7, the second highest ceiling in this entire division. But then again, at their 4-6-11, it's not as low because I think they will probably win at least 3 or maybe even 4 games for this division. So I think it'll be tough for them to be terrible, but it's not impossible for them to be bad. I had them at 8-7, 2 games away from winning this division. But the Texans won their last 2 games, and the Colts lost their last 2 games bringing their prediction to 8-9, but still not too bad. The final division, and maybe the best, AFC North. The Ravens have them first in the division, first in the conference. One day we gotta stop hyping the Ravens up because every year in the playoffs they sell the bag, but I'm gonna give them one more chance. I gave them an S- offense and an S defense because, listen, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Derrick Henry, you got Mark Andrews, you got great offensive line, Isaiah Likely, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman. Are they finally going to come together and produce as they should, dropping 30 on every team, including the playoffs? They should, but will they is the question. Defense is absolutely insane. They just added Jair Alexander to players like, what's his name? Marlon Humphrey. Why can't I remember their safety's name? He's really good. They serve with Ofe Owe over there and stuff. Is Michael Pierce still a Raven? He might be. Roquan Smith is still an absolute dog. Either way, this defense and offense should produce a really, really good team. After 4-10-7, it's pretty hard to think of a NFL year where the Ravens suck this season. It's really hard to think of that. It's possible. Maybe they just really falter off. Lamar's not as good and they fall to 10 wins. But I still see them making the playoffs even at their worst. Ceiling, 15-2. Not the highest ceiling. It's just behind the Eagles. But I still expect the Ravens to be absolute dogs. And finally, my prediction is 13-4. Because at the end of the day, I think the Ravens are going to be the best team in the AFC. I think they have all the tools. And I could see them being second behind the Bills. I can't see them being third or fourth. I just really can't see them being worse than the Chiefs or the Texans. It can happen, of course. But I think the Ravens are going to be an absolute monster. Next, the Steelers. Second in the division. Fifth in the conference, so the highest wild card spot. Which means they face the Texans. I give them a C- offense, which is really low for a playoff team. They have Rodgers. He could be good, maybe. They have Jalen Wright. No one's really excited about him, let's be honest. Did they draft the running back? I think they drafted Caleb Johnson. They lost George Pickens. It's going to be a tough season for their offense, but they still have Freiermuth, still have a great offensive line, led by players like the former Bulldog Broderick Jones. But the real thing that people are excited for is the Steelers' defense. With T.J. Watt, the dog Cameron Hayward, still got Highsmith, still got Joey Porter, and now Jalen Ramsey. Sure, the safeties took a hit, but man, this front seven and then the corners, like, what are they going to do? What are opponents going to do besides throw jump balls downfield and pray that the safety doesn't make a play? There's not much else they can do. Now, if the Steelers are at a lower floor, because if this offense really does sputter and averages under 22 points a game, they could still lose a ton of games, which is why I have their floor so low. But at their ceiling, the Steelers could be even a division winner. They could win the AFC North. Don't be surprised if they do. I don't have that happening. I have them going 11-6, 2 games behind the Ravens, but they're still the best wild card team and had a better record than the Texans, so they're technically the 4th best team in the AFC. So yeah, look out for the Steelers, specifically their defense and maybe their offense if Aaron Rodgers finally is what people hope he is. Cincinnati Bengals, 3rd in their division, 7th in the conference, taking the last playoff spot. A-plus offense. No one's surprised. They have this receiver who's third string who I can't name. Well, I can name him. I can see his name in my head, but I can't pronounce it. He's pretty good. They have, of course, Boyd and Chase, the best receiver duo in the NFL. Maybe. You might want to take A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I might take Brown and Smith. You could take Lamb and Pickens. Like, there's a lot of good receiver duos, but Chase and Higgins, I said Boyd, I meant Higgins. Chase and Higgins are up there. They have a top 5 QB. And Chase Brown, who's not bad at all. But they have that offensive line, who I don't know if they're ever going to improve. I think they're better this year, though. But are they ever going to really rise up? They're the worst playoff team offensive line I believe I have. Maybe competitive with the Texans, though. Neither team has a great offensive line. But their defense is still an issue. They didn't improve it, man. They got Shamar Stewart. Hooray. Shamar Stewart. Woohoo. They have Cam Taylor-Britt, who's improved. He's good. Trey Hendrickson, if he stays. But still, those are just pieces. This full defense is like Swiss cheese. I can't see them being elite because I think defense matters more than ever, and the Bengals still don't have that. They're 4-7-10. I think they went like 8-9 last year. I'll still be surprised if Joe Burrow leads them to a worse record than this. But even then, if you go 7-10 this year, Bengals, I think the coach just gotta go or something's gotta happen because Joe Burrow can't be going 7-10 or 8-9. But as their ceiling, I have 12-5 because I don't think the Bengals are gonna be 7-10. I think they have a higher likelihood of going 12-5, despite their defense and Burrow making it into the playoffs finally. But as an official prediction, I have them going 10-7. So a little bit worse than the Steelers, but still one of the best teams in the NFL, enough to make it to the playoffs. And I'm not sure if they'll make a run because soon you'll be going against offenses as good as this one. And once you lose the allure of this offense, you lose a lot of the skill on this team. Because once you go against an equally matched offense with also a good defense, I just can't see the Bengals winning a lot of those games. So they might get swept, possibly by the Ravens. But I won't say that's a guarantee. Finally, we have the Browns. 4th in their division, 12th in the conference. I give them an F+ offense, one of the lowest grades. We don't know who their QB is going to be. They have, who's that guy on their running back? I can't remember him. He's really mid. They have Jerry Jeudy. That's a nice receiver one. It's not even a top 20 receiver one. Judy's fine, but he never could elevate above Sutton for a reason. And then we got solid offensive line. Nothing special. And David Njoku, who's still a top 15 tight end. He's still really good. Solid offense is honestly a stretch. I can't. Like, one of the worst starting running backs in the league. Probably bottom 5. Bottom 5 receiver core. I mean, they have Cedric Tillman. But, like, if you look at the top 3 of every NFL team's receivers, are the Browns even top 20? You're lying to yourself if you say yes. And then I got their QB's lowest in the NFL, along with the Saints, because you don't know who's going to be, and no matter who it is, you're like, oh, that's a bunch of mid right there. Maybe it's your Sanders. I don't know. The only thing saving this offense is the offensive line, which is why this isn't the F- offense. But a B+ defense, you got Greedy Williams, I think, is still there. Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett. They have like I think like Mike Jones or something, a really solid interior defensive lineman. They still have JOK. And then they have, what's the safety's name? I can't remember, but he's really good too. But at the Browns' floor being 4-13, they could still be a terrible team. Sitting 9-8 just outside the playoffs, though, they could end up being good. If I'm telling you, I think their best chance is Drew Sanders. Because if you can pull out whatever he did at Colorado with Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman, which could easily work out as an alternative to Travis Hunter and Jimmy Horn, then you could have a solid Browns team. I have the prediction at 6-11, though, because I don't think Sanders is going to start. I think it's probably going to be Pickett. And I can't see them being good in this AFC North. They might. I think I had them going 1-5 in this division, which is already 5 of those 6 losses. It's just going to be really tough for the Browns, not only because of their skill, but also because of the toughest division in the NFL. Anyway, these are the final seedings. NFC